Hello and welcome back to Buckle Up. I'm Harry King and this is the all-new VW T-Roc. Now this car's predecessor enjoyed being the best selling car in segment, so today I'm going to find out if this is still the best small family SUV you can buy. Let's start out with styling here at the front. This has been moved on to VW's latest or current kind of family face design. You've got that higher lighting element. It is a full light bar, got the lower smiling face. This now lines up and matches with its larger siblings, the Tiguan and the T-Roc, and of course the new Golf, with which this shares a lot. It's about the same size, although obviously this is a crossover. It also shares a lot under the skin. This is now on VW's MQB Evo platform, along with the new Golf and the Tiguan and the Passat and all of VW's latest models, which means this now has new levels of technology available to it as well. We'll get onto that more on the drive, but it's important to note that even though there is a lot of styling updates, the changes are more than just skin deep. For this new generation, the T-Roc has grown in every dimension. The main one being length. It's 10 centimeters longer, nearly a foot longer in the wheelbase, which should help out fitting an adult in the back seats. It is also about a centimeter wide and taller, although they've sought to visually reduce the height of the vehicle. So you've got this, what they're calling, hockey stick element, which defines the top of the vehicle, and then there's a black roof and black roof bars, but they kind of fade into the background and you visually see this as the top of the car. You've got wider wheel arches down at the bottom to make it look visually stable on the road, sure-footed. That's what they're going for anyway. Of course, if you're going to do all of these things, why don't you just sell, I don't know, a hatchback? Personally, I like my SUVs to look like SUVs, but I'm sure this will appeal to very many people. I know I am in the minority on this one. This is the entry-level life trim. It's available in 3 trims. This gets the entry-level wheel size of 17 inches. Still alloys, really rather lovely actually, and it goes all the way up now to 20-inch wheels on what is a B/C segment compact crossover. That is huge. Personally, I like the sidewall, I like the comfort. Also, at the rear of the vehicle, you do have your petrol filler flap. I mention this because what's the powertrain sitch? Well, at the moment, you can order this with 110 or 150 horsepower, 4-cylinder, 1.5 litre Evo engine. That's mild hybrid. Towards the end of this year, they're going to be introducing a strong hybrid, probably with the same engine, but more electrical assistance and a little bit more power in 2 power levels. And then in 2027, they have suggested that they will be bringing back the T-Roc R with over 300 horsepower, which will be very lovely indeed, and I look forward to driving, hopefully, when it launches. Should we look at the back of this one? Round here we have a couple more of those visually compacting elements. We've got that diffuser at the back, again with a silver streak in it to kind of compress the rear end of the vehicle, and this very sleek aero element, which obviously isn't a spoiler, it's helping to smooth the airflow over the back of the vehicle. It does look like the perfect place to have hidden the rear wiper, but they've still got it down here. I know that it would be a rip-off of Range Rover to do that, but I do like it. Kia do it as well. It is very premium. Name of the model and another full lighting element, and then a small ETSI badge to let you know that this is a mild hybrid. If I open up the boot on this Life model, it is manual, although the strut assistance is very strong actually, and it's electric on higher trim levels. We find that a lot of the extra vehicle length has been utilised in the boot, which has now grown to 475 litres. In approximate maths, that means there should be space for 5 carry-on bags in here to complement the 5 seats in the interior. Boot floor does drop if you want it to use the full size of the boot, although of course then you get a very large load lip, or you can lift it up and then it's kind of a smooth entryway. There's a small, very small hump here, but it's plastic and designed to have things slide over it. And if you drop the seats, it's then a continuous boot floor. Dropping those seats gives you over 1,300 litres of space, which is probably enough for anyone. And, great news, you can drop just the centre seat if you want to do some through loading. So if you want to do fishing or skiing or something else where you need a long, thin thing and maybe 4 people in the car, you could do that in this. Other features of the boot, all models get a 12-volt socket back here, and you do have a hook on the left-hand side of the boot to hold a bag in place if you don't have that much with you. Under this boot floor completely, there is a spare wheel well. There isn't any lining or anything in there, and there also, as you may have noticed, there isn't actually a spare wheel. This has a tyre inflation repair kit. It does also come with a full jack though, which is interesting that you get the jack and not the wheel. Presumably you can option a wheel to go in that well. They haven't just put it in for fun. It would be nicer if that wasn't present, if that space was able to be utilised slightly better for storage. Obviously you don't want to put stuff against bare metal. You might damage your things, you might damage the metal. Let's see though if I damage my legs trying to climb in the back seats. Well, initially things look good. However, in a sense of fairness to the car, I have raised my driver's seat up into what I believe is a sort of standard crossover driving position. This isn't how I would usually have the seat. I would have it lower. And when it's set in my desired driving position, I'm not very comfortable back here. However, you definitely could configure all the seats to make 4 6-foot people happy enough. And what I must say is actually in most dimensions, the cabin is really rather spacious. I've got plenty of shoulder room. The footwells are nice and wide and low. I do have a little bit of a problem with headroom, although in this segment of car, that's not unusual. I'm 180 centimetres tall or 5'11", whichever takes your fancy. So definitely adults will be happier in the front, but you can do it. It does fit for adults inside, which is good. It's good for this segment of vehicle. In terms of features, first thing I want to talk about, weirdly, is the door release, the door pulls, the handle. They've designed it, redesigned it, so you pull it up from the front, it's quite a nice action, and they say it's intuitive. But personally, I was quite used to how door handles always have been, where you sort of pull them out like that. Got to try something every so often, haven't you? I don't dislike it, I just don't really see the point. I've got seat back pockets, I've got a couple of USB-Cs down here, and I do have ISOFIX points with kind of push-back retractable garage doors, so you won't lose them. I also have a fold-down armrest with a couple of cup holders in it, and I have space for a bottle in the doors. Let's see what it's like up front. Well, up here it's certainly more spacious and better equipped. Let's talk first though about design. So, this being the entry-level trim, you get cloth seats. They're really rather nice, but they're fully manual. If you step up, you get into VW's ergomatic seats. They're massaging, everything else. These do have seat heaters though. That is an optional extra. Also, you've got some special sauce sprinkled over this. That's what VW's design boss likes to call the third tenet of their design ethos. The engineers at the factory, when designing this, the wireless charger, they saw the little kind of, I guess they're air cooling channels, but they described them as swimming lanes. So the designers went ahead and put little people in them that are swimming, which is rather nice. Although if you've got a slightly darker mind like mine, it actually looks like a bowling alley. But that's neither here nor there. You've also got lovely cloth textures up on the dashboard, which means you do have soft touch up there. As you move down the cabin, the plastics do harden, although pretty much everywhere you would care to touch, it's very nice and tactile. Practicality, let's start with cubbies. I've got an underarm or kind of underarm into cup holder general storage bin area. It's got VW's movable cup holder system as well. Wireless charger, like I've just mentioned, and above that 2 USB-Cs as well if you want to wire into the screen. Although of course you can use wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay because this is the latest version of VW's infotainment. Big door pockets as well, plenty of space in there for a bottle of water, although unlike VW's of yore, they're not felt lined all the way around, so things will rattle about a little bit. You've also got a nicely damped glove box that's decently large, and unlike some Stellantis vehicles, for example, doesn't have a fuse box in it, taking up half the space. That's lovely to see. Sun visors, but no sunglasses holder, unfortunately. I'm sure will live. Controls-wise, VW have listened. I've got a steering wheel with physical controls on it. They are sticking with that from now on. having had the feedback on haptic buttons, they've decided that physical is the way for them. Drive selector on the right hand side, so it's a column shifter, and then your left hand stalk doing pretty much everything else. Wipers, lights, the whole shebang. Indicators, of course, naturally. And then infotainment screen, you've got a fully illuminated lower bar where you can do your temperature and your volume, although they've also put in this controller down here, which I think shares its technology with the controllers we've seen in some Skodas, where you can press it and it changes between volume, drive mode, or atmosphere. Although you have to go there and then you can swipe for atmosphere or drive mode. I don't know why you can't just press around all three, but there you go. So when it's in volume mode, it is just a straightforward volume control. Turn that up, turn it down. It's rotary, it's nice and lovely to use. Or obviously in drive modes, you can cycle through your drive modes. You've got Eco, Comfort, Sport and Individual. Or if I, hang on, press and swipe, here are our atmospheres, which change the ambient lighting on the inside of the car to feel, so you can feel various things. You can have minimal, me, energetic, joy, lounge. Very similar to the kind of system you get on Minis, actually. They have a sort of vibe that you can set up for your drive. And I know that's very popular. Ooh, joy. I'll press that again, go back to volume. Lovely. You've also got sat nav. That is something you have to option though, because obviously most people will probably just use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. You can buy that direct from the dealer when you order the car brand new, or if you're looking at one of these used in 4 years' time and you've stumbled onto this very old video, you can actually spec that digitally through kind of VW's online shop. You can just add that as an upgrade to the car. I know some people don't really like it when the technology already exists in the car and it's just not activated, but it does mean that you have that flexibility if you're coming to this as a used buyer or owner. I think the thing to do now though is find out how it drives. So, driving the VW T-Roc. Let's start with some facts and figures of the two engines currently available. You can have 110 or 150 PS, and they come respectively with 220 or 250 Newton meters of torque. 0 to 62 is handled in either about 11 or about 9 seconds. And the reason I'm giving you both is because I didn't check which power output I got before I took the keys for the car. And I just assumed there would be a sheet in here that told me, and there isn't. So I'm going to have to floor it at some point and try and decide which power output I have, and then I'll write underneath whether I was right or wrong. That'll be a fun game for everyone. Comment now if you think I'm going to get it right. I won't get it right. Let's talk about the Evo platform, which this has, and shares technology with the bigger, more expensive cars in VW's range. It means you basically get more ADAS. So this comes with advanced travel assist, kind of VW's most advanced travel assist system, which means it will drive pretty much by itself. It kind of sees the road ahead and it knows from the sat nav where you are, and it will do things like adjust the speed and slow down for corners or roundabouts or traffic lights. It'll do automatic lane changes on the motorway. Kind of a full-on system. I've used that in other VW vehicles. It is very good, and in fact it's available across the group, so in Skodas and Cupras and other things like that as well. But it's a very impressive system. I do think the auto center steering could be a bit better on it. In fact, let's do a bit of set. No, are you set? Set. Oh, there we go. So I've now got the cruise on. We are going down a country road, so there's one line and there is a curb, so if this goes wrong, it's going to go really wrong. We're coming up to, no, that's not a speed change, it's just still 40, but this will also read the speed signs and change speed accordingly, apparently. And this gives me time to think about, how is the ride? How's the feel of being in here? Well, I've lowered my seat back down, you may have noticed, while I was doing the front seat segment. So I am sat down, lower in the vehicle again. I feel nice and hunkered in. Will it notice the change? 60, and it's changed and accelerating by itself. That is, oh, the modern world. So I don't feel particularly elevated. You are slightly higher than you would be in a normal hatchback. I'm slightly higher up than people are around me in hatchbacks and saloons. And of course you can jack your seat up because you do have a decent amount of headroom here at the front. So I could have sat in the seat in the position it was in, I did check. And then you will have a slightly more commanding view. But it is nice to kind of feel hunkered down in the vehicle. I do like it, having the top of the door around my shoulder height. I'm going to slow down because as a cyclist, I don't know if the auto cruise is capable of understanding that. And round in we go. Whee! Turn it back on, see what it does, because there's some corners coming up. I do have a kind of a 90-degree turn coming up in the sat-nav, and I'm interested to see if this knows that and slows down for me. I may have to get on the anchors quite severely, so we'll see what the braking is like. And the ride is actually fairly soft, somewhat floaty. I probably would have applied the brakes for that corner, actually, car. So no, I've had to override it with the brakes, which are pretty good. I'll floor it now. 7-speed dual clutch gearbox in here, smooth changes. And on the anchors, yeah, they're good. Nice, solid feeling brake pedal and good to modulate. If I turn down here, accelerate a bit, and then I do a proper full-on anchor stop. So what it's done there is it's tucked me in with the seat belt. And oh, in fact, look, you're facing the floor now. There you go, that's better. It tucked me in with the seat belt and stopped me from moving about. So it's got lots and lots of safety features, but the brakes are good. That's a good feeling pedal. Let's hoon it a little bit around this roundabout. Slightly antisocial, but oh yeah, plenty of grip for a family car. And you know what? Off centre, it's decent feeling steering as well. It's very quiet and very refined, and it has what I would describe as a VW solidity to it. And I think in this segment, this is just a very compelling car. It does everything you'd ever want, and it's very, very refined without commanding a massive premium price. What is that price, I hear you ask? Well, the range starts from just over £30,000, which isn't cheap. It's not cheap. I'm not trying to say it's cheap. But if you compared it to something like a BMW X1, certainly more affordable than that. And also, I think it's worth noting, I've been in the Life model. Other than the heated seats, there's not many I mean, well, potentially the engine. But other than those, there's not that many options going on here. You do get pretty much everything you'd want from base. You don't have to go up the options level. Now, obviously, if you want bigger alloys or a nice styling pack, you can go and get an R-Line or similar. But you don't have to. That's the nice thing. You can just have the basic one, and it has everything you need. And I do like that. VW are quite good about that. I think that's pretty much everything I needed to get out, though. So let's go back and do a proper conclusion. Well, that is the T-Roc driven, and what am I thinking? Well, VW have done it again. This is a very compelling car, available with pretty much all of the kit on it that you would like at a competitive price. It's a no-brainer. I would strongly recommend the T-Roc for anyone looking for a compact family SUV. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. If you go down into the description, you find all the links to all our social media. You'll also find a couple of ways that you can directly support the channel. So we have channel memberships right here on YouTube, and we also have a merch store, so please go and buy something there. That would be very much appreciated. In fact, please go do one or all of those things, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.